Mr. Clark After Dark is brought to you by Luxy. That's Luxy. Luxy is the standard for modern dating as it gives you a greater understanding of a potential match's intentions and background before you make your move. Swiping endlessly on other dating apps can be exhausting and often leaves you with only the leftovers in your dating pool. Luxy is an exclusive platform with just a 10 to 15% acceptance rate, as well as a profile and income verification feature, so you can be confident you're only connecting with those who meet your high standards. Their community guidelines emphasize safety, trust, and quality by strictly prohibiting scams, explicit content, and harassment. 2025 is your year to stop settling. With Luxy, there is no luck involved, just real connections with people who truly match what it is you are looking for. Download the Luxy app today to see if you qualify for a better chance of finding the right person for you. And now, back to the show.
In my younger years, had this whole belief system around being a teacher is a calling. You're called to it. It's part of your identity and all of that stuff. And I really believed that for a long time. The older I get, or maybe the more education changes, I don't necessarily know if I believe that as strongly as I used to believe that. Yeah. I think that the best teachers are the teachers who have passions beyond the classroom, as well as passions in the classroom. Yeah. So, because I think that it takes a lot from you to be a teacher. Yeah. It's a constant giving. Yeah. And very little return. Yeah. I mean, there are certainly great rewards and returns when students are being successful and you're seeing that kind of growth, but you don't always see that, and you don't always see that right away. Yes. And so you have to have this sort of sense of, I want to make a difference and I don't care if I see it. Yeah. And this is bigger than me, and I am this, but I'm also all these other things. Yeah. So why would someone go into teaching today, in this day and age? I think really, if you enjoy kids, you got to enjoy kids, first of all, because otherwise they're going to do stuff that you're not going to like. Yes. You're going to be out. You have to look at them in a way that you're like, okay, I don't like what you're doing, but I love you. Yeah. Right? You got to still have a little bit of that faith in students and kids. Yeah. But I think really from what I would say, the biggest driver to going into education today is if you have this intellectual curiosity about the world. Yeah. You want to try and figure stuff out, there's no better place to be than in a classroom where sometimes what you think you know, and sometimes what you think you don't know, and you're constantly trying to look at it as a challenge to try and wrap your mind around. Yeah. And I think that that's the best way to kind of approach teaching today. So if you are the kind of person who is like, you know what, I just like to learn stuff and figure things out and share that with other people, then I think that's kind of the best.
Yeah, because my favorite part, especially being a classroom teacher in a high school, they're mini adults. They're by no means, I'm still kind of a mini adult. It's fine.
Me too.
And honestly, I don't think that ever goes away. I think once you hit 20, that's kind of you forever. That's kind of your head, not in every way, but my thing would be, if you're listening to a podcast or you hear something, you're like, oh, I can just talk about this tomorrow. Right. And that's part of my job is to be inspired and talk about these things. And I'm like, why would you not want to do that? Yeah, you got to mark essays and stuff, but to me, that part was also not that bad to me. It takes time, and we'll get to the essay help here in a little bit, but
yeah, it's just this I have all these things running around inside my head, and I want to get them out. And what better group of people to get them out with than people who've never heard some of the stuff before, right? There's part of that. I always love, I'm a classic dad joke person. I love a good bad joke. Yeah. And kids think they're funny because they've never heard them before. Oh, yeah. Whereas I say them to my husband, and he's like, oh my God.
He's like, I heard that 6 times today.
Right. And so there's still this kind of wonder. Yeah. And even in high school, sometimes they say, in high school kids are more cynical. No, there's still this fascination. Yeah. And
Like a playfulness.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I am excited and energized by ideas.
Yeah.
When it comes to literacy, what I want is I want to convey this message that literacy is a basic human right.
Yeah.
And that literacy is the root of advocacy. And that's advocacy for others, but also advocacy for yourself. And so when we have students who are not meeting with success in reading, writing, speaking, listening, viewing, any of the literacy skills, then we have an individual who's at risk in our society of being taken advantage of not living up to what their quote unquote best life could be. And so I think for me, it's that constant push of, we're not doing this so that we have a whole society full of people who can recite a monologue from a Shakespearean play. We're doing this so that we have people who can read something or watch something and go, you know what, that's not right. And this is why that's not right. And this is what I'm going to do about it.
Yep.
And that's, to me, the heart of literacy. And so when I'm talking literacy, I hope that I'm always kind of like keeping that advocacy piece in mind when it comes to like, why do we do what we're doing?
Yeah. What has been your role, or I guess how have you observed the rollout of that, and like what have you liked to see? What have you liked that has changed in your time teaching in New Brunswick?
Okay.
Maybe not New Brunswick, even if it's just like I'm kind of thinking about those roles that's coming up. But.
I think that kind of at the root of all of it, regardless of how roles have changed over time and what there's always been this whole sense of you're not in it alone, which I think, it speaks to this idea that there's like an AST position, like, okay, classroom teacher, you're not in this alone.
Yeah.
There's coaches, like nobody's in this alone. There's people like me. You're not like, and even like with the coaches that are on my team, sometimes we'll be at places and they'll say something like, oh yeah, this is my boss. And I'm like, oh,
yeah,
gross.
Well, that's kind of like the power thing. Like I've
I'm
never thought of that as like,
right.
Like
I'm just a member of the team.
Well, even like the word expert, I just feel like everyone can learn from everyone in some way. But I do feel like, yes, I agree with that. Like that.
Yeah, like it's, and so I think there's that kind of feeling. Like I always describe myself in my role as like, I'm just a teacher with a different schedule so that I have more time to read the books to help you do the things you need to do. Yeah. Like that's really, like, I've got the time to do the research and to read the books and to plan the lessons and to do those things. But at the heart, that's the only difference between me and a classroom teacher is that I can do that background work for you that you maybe don't have as much time to do because you're dealing with this stuff here. But I'm not an expert. I know things because I have time to know things.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I don't even know all the things yet. Yeah. I will.
One day we will know all the things.
I want to know all of the things.
93 books a year. Yeah. I still can't get over that part. But, and I guess, is there... One of the things I often ponder in my morning coffee ponderings is, I guess, like where is the disagreement in education? In the sense of, like, it's almost part and parcel with our profession that you do not necessarily professionally challenge another teacher in the classroom, nor do I have the desire to. But all I'm saying is, like, two lawyers go into a courtroom, they argue, right? You go to a doctor, you get a doctor, you get a second opinion. And so have we figured education out in terms of how it should be organized? Like, is the answer 5 ASTs at every school? Is it one for each subject? Is it double the coaches? Is it smaller districts? I guess, like, where is the room for innovation in like the next 5 to 10 years? And maybe innovation is the wrong word, but I guess like the healthiest structuring of that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the kind of thinker that can be swayed in so many different directions every time someone presents a really great argument.
I'm like, I agree with you.
I'm like, that's fantastic and brilliant. Let's do that and do only that. And then something else comes along. I'm like, and now let's do this too.
Yes.
I think
like, this is a Wendy's.
I think one of the places where there certainly is room for growth when it comes to a more innovative systemic structure is, I think, that we need more time built into our day, our year, or whatever, so that teachers can do things like pursue time with coaches, time to learn, time to grow. We don't have a system that gives, a classroom teacher the opportunity to do those things efficiently and well. Yeah. We say, hey, come for this one-day PL. I'm going to throw as many things at you as possible because this is the only time I'm going to see you this year. And there's a coach available to come and help you with it. Good luck.
Yeah.
And I just think, I think that sometimes it's really easy to say like, oh, those district people don't get it. Those classroom teachers don't get it. We're always kind of saying, yeah, but you just don't, they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
What is it that no one gets? Like, I guess every teacher it's like kind of the classic social media expression. It's like the shared struggle. But, yeah, I guess like what do you think?
I think that I think that what we've tried to do, and maybe I'm completely off, but what I feel like we've tried to do is we've tried to take education, and this isn't just New Brunswick, this is like across many areas. Yeah. We've tried to take education and squeeze it into business models as opposed to humanizing it with discourse. We don't have time to talk. Yeah. We don't have time for teacher A to go next door to see teacher B teach their class and go like, hey, wow, that's really cool. I never thought of doing it that way. Yep. We don't have the time for the discourse. And that's because I think like I said, we've tried to like box it into this business model. Yeah. And I hear it sometimes when I'm in meetings, the students are our customers. They're our clients. They're our customers. And I'm like, no, they're not.
Clientele makes my skin crawl.
They're not.
I don't know why it bothers me so much.
It bothers me.
I'm like, oh, we need to serve and I feel like even if it was a private school, even using that terminology, it's like, no, it's like there's something different they're trying to get from here, but
it's a dehumanizing concept
I'm like,
to me.
that's not what we're doing
it's
here.
It's like a transactional relationship.
I'm not doing your taxes for you. No, like, that's not what we're doing here.
I don't have like a capitalistic transactional relationship with the kids in my class.
Yes. Yeah.
I do what I do for the kids in my class because I love them. Yeah. I love them. Yeah. And there's all different kinds of love and all that. But ultimately at the heart, I love them. And that's, I've had this big discussion with someone one day at a PL, and the teacher came up to me at the break or something, and she was like, yeah, this has been really great, but I really hate the way you keep calling them kids. Mm-hmm. They're students. And I'm like, no. They're kids. They're kids. I love them. Yeah. To me, calling them kids is my expression of they're my kids. They're mine. I love them. Whereas students feels a little bit removed. Yeah. There's a different kind of relationship there.
And you can change everything you do, which is like
one year I was like
crazy.
Found that I was, oh yeah, okay, I'm feeling kind of not as energized as I typically was. And I was like, you know what I'm going to try? I'm going to get rid of all my desks and see what happens.
You're going to what?
Get rid of all my desks.
Oh.
And I'm like, I'm going to have no student desks in my classroom. And I had dining room tables and I had standing desks and I had beanbag chairs. And I'm like, let's just see what happens.
And?
Oh, loved it. I loved it. The kids loved it. I got rid of my teacher desk. I had no teacher desk. It was fun. And I was like, and it re-energized me. Yeah. Because I'm like, let's try something and see what happens. And I don't care if it is a huge failure because that's actually not a failure.
You can put the desk back in if you really wanted to. It's not that serious.
Right. It's not a big deal, right? And but it got to the point where I had like grade 11 boys coming in, and as soon as they would cross the threshold of my classroom, would take off their shoes and put their slippers on because they were like, no, you don't wear shoes in the house.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, well, this isn't a house. They're like, this is like a house.
Wow.
And
that's the dream.
like, that's fun, right? And I was like, that's fun.
That's the dream.
That's fun.
Yeah.
And so I think we have so much freedom at our fingertips to re-energize ourselves if we're willing.
A deskless classroom.
Right? Wow. Like, I mean, we had tables.
Yeah.
We had but there were just none of those little white square student desks. Like the custodian's face when I said, "Can you get rid of all of these?" He was like, "What?" Like, I don't want any of them.
Wow. That's cool.
Get rid of them.
That. And so that's part one. That's one of your other parts for educational innovation. Another one is, we briefly discussed this at when I set foot into the ivory tower recently, and you're talking about joy as a skill.
Oh yeah.
Tell me more.
Oh, joy. So I love Goldie Muhammad and all of the work of Goldie Muhammad. So cultivating genius and cultivating joy.
Yeah.
Just this idea that there's joy to be found in seeing yourself. So not just for teachers, but also for students. Like the joy of reading a book and going, oh, I'm like that person. Like there's joy there. And I think that we have a skewed view of what joy and happiness means. It's not this ecstatic, like running through the streets,
screaming in excitement.
Right. Yeah. That's not actually what it is, but joy is more of like this settled contentment. So I'm a big like follower of rabbit hole trails. Like the joke around the
fellow
office,
rabbit here,
right? Like the joke around the office is that I don't go down rabbit holes. I dig my own. So I'm like, okay. So, I really wanted to explore this for no reason other than I'm just curious.
Yeah.
And there's a whole school of psychological thought that says true happiness, what really is happiness or joy, actually comes from an inquiring mind. Okay. When your mind is active and busy, that's where you find happiness.
I'm going to tell my wife that.
And I'm like, what a great way to frame that.
Yeah.
Especially for students, when we think about mental health crisis with our youth today. And we think about, but I think what's happening is that they've got this idealized version of what happiness is and what joy is, instead of this joy is like this calm, gentle inquiry.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I guess the times I feel the most joy is actually when I'm the most calm. Like I think about like one of my self-inflicted walking jokes, not running jokes, it's about walking. I would post like all year last year when I still lived in Fort McMurray, there was like a little canal area down like maybe a 10-minute walk from my house, but I had an old man bench and it was the old man bench. And I would go and I'd sit there for like 10 minutes.
Right.
And I would just be like, another old man walk. And I feel like it's almost cliche now that like you have your best ideas when you're walking and you're just like, you're giving yourself permission to just be aimless in a sense. But like that to me wasn't watching my favorite team score a goal. Like that wasn't joy. It was, and I wasn't jumping up and down because something I just won the lottery or something. It's like, it's almost like an everything's going to be okay moment.
Right. It's smooth.
But it's like smooth. Yeah.
It's
and you're
smooth
like,
joy.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
And
it's the pursuit of inquiry.
Yes.
And that's where joy lives.
And it almost lets you figure out what your inquiries are rather than like someone telling you what they should be, which
That's right.
I think that's a cheesy way for the educator in me to just be like, follow your heart and find your joy. And you're setting up education to be this fake interaction.
Right.
That like, I want to give you a grade, but you're actually just talking to me for something.
Right.
Rather than actually like trying to learn and improve.
Yeah.
Which is weird. So I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off there, but that's
no.
what it was.
Yeah. No, it's very true. Like, so before I left the classroom, this whole idea of marks, it didn't feel good to me. It felt dehumanizing. It felt like it didn't work for me.
Yeah.
And so I decided that I was going to have an ungraded classroom, much to the consternation of my administration.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's like how we're taught to teach still. And I'm like, it can feel so like earth shattering to you to not have desks in your classroom.
Right.
Not like, what do you mean I don't have a quiz every Friday?
Right.
Like, what? This doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. So it was fascinating to watch what the students did. So I was teaching, at the time I was teaching a grade 9, 2 grade 10s, and a grade 11. So, good chunk.
It's a good slate.
A good chunk of kids there. Really the results were the same across the board. It didn't really matter academic-wise or age-wise, or where they all kind of came to the same place. Different paths to come to the same place, but and the place that they came to was, this feels better. Yeah. Like the kids actually liked it. I didn't like at first they were like, but I need scholarships and I need this and that. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Universities figure that stuff out all the time. Yeah. They really do. So I'm like, no grades. You get no grades until the first report card. Yeah. You get feedback. We'll have conversations. We'll have observations. You will do things for me and I will give you feedback on them. But I'm not putting a mark on anything. I'm not putting a mark in Power School. I am not putting a number on you at all until the first report card. And then at the first report card, you're going to actually put a number on you, not me. And you're going to show me why you've put that number on you. And if you and I are kind of in agreement within, 7 points, if we're in 7 points, then we're good to go. We'll go with the higher of the two. If we're off, we don't
So
agree.
you would both kind of plan a grade?
Yeah.
I'm
like, okay, I got a number in my head. What's your number? And they say their number. I say my number. If we're, and they always had to they filled out a reflection and they said here's my evidence and why I should have this. This is what I did on this project and this is what I did here. And if we were within 5-7 points, and I was like, all right, we're good to go. We'll put that mark on the report card. If we weren't in agreement, there wasn't this punitive confrontation. It was, you know what? I don't have the same mark. What did I miss?
I like that.
What did you do that I didn't see? Or what did you not see in yourself that I saw? So there was never a confrontation. It was like, you may have done things that I didn't notice because I'm a human. Yeah. I don't see everything. Yeah. So talk to me about what you saw that I didn't.
I love that.
And really, in every class, there was maybe 1 or 2 that were higher than I would have given them and 1 or 2 that were lower, and that's it.
And it's really not that weird because even now, I don't, I've had evaluations this year and it's never been like, you get a B minus, Lucas, or you get an A plus. Right. It's like, this is what I saw. This is what you did well. This is where I can see improvement. And that's why education is not in that in the same way does not.
It doesn't.
But it's not weird that it should be. But everyone's like, oh my God, if I don't have the 4 tests a week, then what are we doing here?
Right. I mean, I always go, whenever I talk to people about ungrading and what I did with ungrading is I always tell the story of this one boy in my class who I adored, but man, he was a handful, but I didn't care. I liked him and had already taught his 3 older brothers. So had mad respect for the mom to have 4 boys that have gone through her house and and just that, they were good kids. They were busy kids, all 4 of them. Yeah. And I remember one of the assignments, they had to read something and then convey the message in some way to demonstrate that they understood the main message of the text, whatever it happened to be that they were reading. And I said, whatever way you can convey that is how you can do this assignment. Yeah. And I remember him saying, and I had taught him the year before too, so I actually had him 2 years in a row. And he's like, you know what, Miss Marshall, I'm going to do spoken word poetry. I'm like, okay, hockey player boy. Not that that's stereotypical, but I was like, I've never seen anything like that from you before.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure.
I said, have at it.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to do it. Okay. And he worked his head to his head down the whole time, wrote this huge spoken word poem. And I said, well, you do know it's like spoken word poem. So you're going to have to perform this to the class or something. And he's like, yeah, I don't mind. He was not scared of people whatsoever. And he's like, yeah, I'll perform this to the class. No problem. Absolutely. Yeah. I said, you pick a day when you think you're going to be ready and I'll create space for that. So day comes and he's like, gets up and he does his spoken word poem and he gets to the end of it and he looks at me and he goes, that was crap, huh? And I'm like, I said, oh yeah, that was bad.
Yeah.
And he's like, whew. Well, I'm just going to go and write a little essay and you'll mark that instead, right? And I'm like, yeah, like this was, you were trying something out and it didn't, we now know, not your thing. And he's like, so in fairness, if this had been like another person's classroom and you marked that, what mark would you have given that? And I'm like, I like you, so I would have given you a 60. Yeah. But that, no, like that's only because you're a nice kid. And he was like, obviously not. But, he would never have taken that risk. Yeah. For me, the biggest thing is intentionality becomes so much more important in the classroom so that I really am clear on what it is I'm trying to get from students. I'm really clear on what they're trying to give me. Okay. And that intentionality is going to be the kind of that crux of like, do they use it and does it hinder the intentionality of what I wanted to do with it? So, for example, I think about students that I've had in the past who are just, for whatever reason, not idea producers. Okay. Right? They never can come up with a good idea, and you can throw topics, and they're just, they don't have that skill developed for whatever reason. Okay. And so if you think about, doing all the different parts of a writing process and whatever way that looks for that student, those students never get to what does good revision look like. They never get to what does good editing look like. They never get to sit down and have a peer conference with someone because they don't have anything to conference on because they never got past that idea creation stage. Yeah. And I think, but what's my intentionality? Am I trying to see if they can come up with ideas? If it is, then they've got to come up with ideas. But if it is, I want them to have a understanding on how to make this paragraph a better paragraph. Do I care who wrote that paragraph? Could they use AI in some way, shape, or form to write their paragraph and then at least have something when they're doing a peer conference, when they're having an interaction with somebody about editing or revision or whatever it happens to be? And so I think that, we need to not always vilify, but look at the opportunities it might give some of our students who maybe don't always have opportunities because they don't have, there's something that doesn't work for them. And I think the rough becomes much more valuable. Okay, what do you mean? Like the messiness of learning becomes way more valuable. And if we put more value on that, then the chat GPT stuff or whatever AI generative stuff, okay, that's nice. I'm glad that you have this lovely little essay about, man, look at this, look at all this messiness of your learning. Yeah. And I value this. Yeah, that's nice. That's lovely. Thank you. Yeah. But this is good stuff. Right? Like that. And I think when we as adults shift what we value, then it's going to make it the draw not as appealing. It's just going to be like, I can do that, but she's not going to really care about that.
Well, it doesn't become the out anymore. Right. Like it doesn't become like, okay, I can do this to finish the assignment and then we can move on.
Right. So I think that intentionality and the messiness are two really important things that we're going to, we need to start to value to counteract that, which, you know what, AI aside, I want that more valued anyway. Yeah. Really, at the end of the day, I want kids to play in the messiness of learning. Yes. Regardless of whether they use AI at some point or not. Yeah. I want it to be messy.
Well, and even for like, if I have someone, even for me as like a podcast guest, like I'll prompt ChatGPT and just for ideas. Like I don't like like I'm not like reading things word for word or like, oh, I'm going to read you this paragraph that they wrote for me. But it's like, but then I'm being not even critical, but like I'm allowing that to be the easing of the burden of initially sprouting the idea and then actually exploring it.
Right.
Which I think is what podcasts are for. But I guess that to me is, I think there's so much creative anxiety in everyone. And I feel like education almost makes you that way.
Right.
That why should it not be a tool to enhance that?
Absolutely.
And so I guess like what, maybe this isn't even the right question to ask. Like, is there a worst case scenario for what ChatGPT eventually does to the humanities classroom? Like, technically, could it get even worse than it is right now? Like, and if worse is even the right word?
Yeah. I think that really the only worst case scenario is if we have a society who has grown up with AI who don't question. That's the worst case scenario. I don't care who has created the video, the text, the whatever, if you question. And I think that's more important to me. So,
a curriculum that rushes through content perpetuates the anxiety of our time. Reading a book slowly and leisurely is a countercultural act. So I know that reader identity and kind of genres, and I'm not sure what it's like at the high school level here, but how do you respond to that?
Absolutely. But I think, I feel like I keep saying the same words over and over again. Intentionality.
Yeah.
What are we telling kids that they're going to get out of their reading?
Yeah.
If I'm saying, here's this book, I want you to read it, and at the end, I'm going to ask you to write an essay about it, then why would they be engaged necessarily? Like, we don't have, to me, that's not, nobody, of the 93 books I read last year, not one person asked me to write an essay about any of them.
Yep.
You know why I read those books? Because I wanted to.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't pick them
for like,
for any purpose other than, some of them I picked because they helped me professionally do something that I needed to do or whatever.
Yeah.
But intentionality. And I think we've got our intentions skewed sometimes when it comes to reading books. Yeah. And it goes back to that smooth joy, right? Like, it's like, this is a way for you to find this smooth, intellectual curiosity, joy, without it being this heavy pressure of, I'm going to do a book report afterwards, or I'm going to have to build a diorama, or whatever it happens to be, right? Like
my Aztec Play-Doh one just screams into my brain.
Right? Like, I mean, like, it's that intentionality, and we need to find that focus of why are you reading this, and helping students find that focus. And that's a muscle. Like, it's, you don't just say, well, I gave them a book and they didn't read it. Yeah. Well, no, of course not. The same way that you can give me a pair of running shoes and I'm not going to run anywhere. Like, that isn't enough. And I think that
I like that.
Well, so there's two other things that I see happen when I think about reader identity, especially. Two things that I've kind of noticed as I dig that rabbit hole and study it and understand it and talk to people about it. And I see that first of all, we have a lot of ELA teachers who are not readers themselves. It's really hard to convey passion for something when you don't think that it has value.
Don't let school get in the way of your education. And so I guess, what do you think it is that you have done for what you've chosen to follow in your life that has led you to be your own version of what you see as being successful?
Gosh, what have I done?
Start and finish with the deep questions.
Right. The first question and the last question, the two hardest ones. I think the biggest thing that I've done is I've never been afraid to just like go out and try something. Like, I really...
Not scared.
I'm really not scared. Like, and I say that about a lot of things. I'm like, well, how badly can I mess this up? Like, probably I'm not going to collapse the system if I take all the desks out of my classroom.
Nothing in this business is fatal.
Nothing
That's
is.
like,
yeah, I always say there's no literacy fires.
no.
Right? Like there's not. So if I decide tomorrow that I'm going to take the day and read like Kelly Gallagher's new book on background knowledge and prior knowledge, because I'm curious.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna be harmed by that.
Yeah. No one's gonna peek in and be like, what are they doing?
Because like bring it.
Yeah.
Right? Like and I think it's that eternal curiosity and pursuit of curiosity that has led me to be where I am. Like and I think that's why, I've had so many different roles, and I've tried this and I've tried that, because I'm like, hey, why don't I try that for a little while? See what happens.
I think for longevity in any profession, that's kind of like, I think I'm still in my like I said at the beginning, I never see myself like again, but in 10 years I'll be a completely different person. So that doesn't really mean anything. It's not even worth thinking about in a sense. But,
Yeah.
All right.
That makes sense.
Amy Marshall, part 1. Thank you so much for coming on. Mr. Clark After Dark is brought to you by Lexi. That's Luxy. Lexi is the standard for modern dating, as it gives you a greater understanding of a potential match's intentions and background before you make your move. Swiping endlessly on other dating apps can be exhausting and often leaves you with only the leftovers in your dating pool. Lexi is an exclusive platform with just a 10 to 15% acceptance rate, as well as a profile and income verification feature, so you can be confident you're only connecting with those who meet your high standards. Their community guidelines emphasize safety, trust, and quality by strictly prohibiting scams, explicit content, and harassment. 2025 is your year to stop settling. With Lexi, there is no luck involved, just real connections with people who truly match what it is you are looking for. Download the Lexi app today to see if you qualify for a better chance of finding the right person for you. And now, back to the show.